Hi, yes, we've finally come to that part of the parcel where all of our grammar assignments have been assigned, and we're going to have a 4-part writing assignment as usual, and then an exam review, and then exams. Yes, we're getting close to the end of the parcel. So, your writing assignment this time is going to be a review of a product or service. Many times customers write reviews on Amazon or something like that, and those are very quick reviews that are like 1 to 3 sentences long. But sometimes companies hire people to try their product or service and write a report on what they have found to be the strengths and weaknesses of that. And that is a form of professional technical writing. And as usual with 10th and 11th grade, I try to give you some assignments that have something to do with the real world, something that you might end up writing someday. So in this one, you're supposed to choose a product or service you'd like to or be able to write an essay-length review of. Now, in the real world, you probably would be presented with something and not be able to choose. But in this assignment, you get to choose what your review will be about. Something imagine that you can write that much about. I will give you some ideas in an attachment, but here are some. You could review a book, and that doesn't even have to be a fictional book. It could be like the handbook for your new computer. It could be a delivery service. It could be a brand of makeup, a game, many kinds of things that you could write a review of. It should be something that you can write both strengths and weaknesses of, so you shouldn't think it's awful, 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 and you shouldn't think it's the best thing ever and has no weaknesses. Okay? So it needs to be, you need to include both. Think about that as you start thinking about what your topic is going to be. If you have a question whether something can be a topic, you can comment below this video or in the pre-writing assignment or send me a WhatsApp. There are many ways that you can reach me. Pre-writing is to answer these 8 questions. Number 1, what is the product or service? So, for example, I might do a product review or service review of the Valle de Angeles moto taxi service. Okay. So I would write Valle de Angeles moto taxis. You don't have to write complete sentences on these. Number 2, what does it promise to do and for whom? So it promises to give low-cost transportation to people within the Municipalidad of Valle de Angeles. I shouldn't say Municipalidad, I should say municipality because we're speaking English, right? Okay. What problem might it or has it solved? Well, the area is fairly big and a lot of people cannot afford to buy motor vehicles. Horses are not practical, so doesn't get people anywhere very fast in most cases. So it solves that problem of transportation. For people like me, I don't have a driver's license, and so I have a car, but I don't have a driver's license right now anyway, so I take moto taxis all the time. Okay, so what does it do exactly, or how does it work? Excuse me. Yeah. What does it do exactly, and how does it work? Okay, so how it works is that they have these 3-wheel vehicles that can hold, well, they're supposed to only hold 3 people, the driver and 2 passengers. And they have expanded that to be 3 passengers and sometimes even 4 or 5 passengers in some cases, but it should be only 3 people. I'm going too long. And so you have to either call a moto taxi driver and they come and pick you up, or you have to just sort of wait along the side of the road for one to come by, and you hail the cab and you pay in cash the amount that it costs for that ride. And it's usually 15 lempiras, and for longer rides it could be 30 lempiras, or maybe a little bit more, depending on how long the ride is. And they have a limited area in which they can go. You can't take a moto taxi to Cantaranas. It's not going to happen. Okay, let's see. Number 5, what are some relevant details? Okay, well, the size, okay, maybe I should have put some of what I put here. The size is pretty small. It's just a little bit bigger than a motorcycle. It has the Mototaxi has a cover over the top of it so it could go in the rain. Shelf life is not really something we need to worry about with Mototaxi services. Speed, so they drive the speed limit, and normally it should take only like 20 minutes for a Mototaxi to get to you, especially because of that limited area if you call them. And if you wait on the side of the road, it depends on where you live, really. And number 6, does this service deliver on its promise? For the most part, it does. And so in this case, you might want to say, well, yes and no. Because, so for example, with the Mototaxis, okay, kind of, but sometimes the drivers, especially like at the turnoff to go to Cerro Grande, they may or may not want to take you where you want to go, or they may not feel like working right then. So you might be sitting there waiting for a Mototaxi to take you when there are 6 Mototaxis sitting in front of you. So sometimes it doesn't really deliver on its promise, but they do they routinely do not ask for more of a fare than the normal price. People aren't trying to cheat other people on prices, so yes, it delivers on that part of its promise. Oddly, I have very rarely seen Mototaxis in wrecks, so even though they may seem to drive in a little bit unsafe way sometimes, they know what they're doing. So yes, it delivers on that promise. Miscellaneous pros and cons. So one of the miscellaneous pros is that I just love riding in Mototaxis. It's fun, and I like the wind in my hair, and sometimes I get to meet people when I ride on them. Not lately because of the plastic that's between us, but sometimes I get to meet neat, interesting people on Mototaxis. And some miscellaneous cons could be, you could wait, where I live, I could wait as much as 25-30 minutes before a Mototaxi comes along that can take me where I want to go. So that can be a con. A big con for me is when they play super loud reggaeton music. I hate that, and I hate, it feels like it's damaging my ears, and I don't think women in general should be subjected to that. Do you recommend it? What reservations would you have, if any? Yes, I recommend it. It's fun. The pros outweigh the cons. Reservations, I really don't have any reservations. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. So, that kind of thing. I've talked a long time about that, haven't I? Yes, I have. Rough draft. So after you've done all that, you need to write basically an essay. Minimum of 250 words. Skip lines, cover the above information, and you can kind of organize it how you want to within the body paragraphs. The introduction should include the name of the product or service, describe it, and say how you came to be familiar with it. The middle part, organize your information and thoughts into 2 to 4 paragraphs. So you could end up being having a 4-paragraph essay, 5 or 6 paragraph essay, depending on how you organize your thoughts. So you should group your thoughts, okay? And then your conclusion, evaluate or recommend it or discourage other people from using it. Okay, so that's the things that should be included in, those are the things should be included in your conclusion. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me via the comments, via WhatsApp, whatever. I think that's it. So happy writing.